if nothing else, what I've been doing recently is writing a hell of a lot of poetry, or really over the last few years, I've been writing a hell of a lot of poetry. I always write poetry, it's just the thing I turn to in my spare time just to continue practicing the craft of writing, I guess, to continue plugging away at something that is, well, um, it's like practice on a level. It's like a constant practice, like one would practice an instrument, I suppose. Like the practice of forming rhythm and putting sentences together, and all these sorts of things. And it's not necessarily. I love writing a poem because it needn't be some grand project, right? It can be just 2 or 3 lines long, if you like. It needn't be some huge grand thing like a novel, right, that's going to sell millions and there's huge amounts riding on it and there's all this pressure to write. It's just something that you can tap away at gleefully and just get that sort of pure energizing experience of writing, and the joy come flooding through, you know, the activity itself, rather than having to trudge away writing a novel, right? And even if it's a novel that you love and that you really want to put out there, and you know you've got characters in it that you love and that you know things really gonna, you know, be loved by loads of people or whatever. Being a novel is a very daunting thing. A poem is a smaller, easier task, basically, than that. And I love writing poetry for that reason. So I've accumulated a hell of a lot of poetry in my time. I've got books full of it. I've got notebooks full of it. I've got a huge amount of it published on my social media. I've got Medium profile full of my poems. Yeah, and I've tried submitting it to literary journals and so on. No one's accepted any of my poetry. None of them have accepted any of it, but whatever, I don't care. And I think what I'm going to try and do is put together a book or two of poetry, since I think I have at least a couple of books worth of poetry that I've done now. And I was thinking of writing 2 collections anyway, one called The Book of Rain and the other called Textures and Flavours. And I think I'm going to make Textures and Flavours the first one, and that's going to be full of like funny, odd poems and dark humour poems and all the poems that are just off the wall, you know, weird, strange, dark, twisted, and so on. That will be in Textures and Flavours. And then more beautiful poetry, more poetry that's kind of like romantic poetry, if you know what I mean, or poetry with deeper shades of meaning associated with it, particularly connected to the theme of rain, will be in the Book of Rain, which will be my second book of poetry, I think. So I'm going to put these things together, do what I usually do and self-publish them, I think, instead of trying to get them published by like Faber and Faber or somebody, because to get poetry published in Faber and Faber you need to get gotten poetry published in literary journals beforehand and so on and so forth, and you need to have won prizes and whatnot, and I haven't won any of those, so I thought I'd just put all my poetry together into 2 collections and see what people make of them. Then I've also got this smaller book of poetry that I want to write called Modular Arithmetic, which includes what I think is my best poem, part -4 of Modular Arithmetic, which I think has a very, very interesting and fluid rhyme scheme to it. Incorporates like gangster rap elements within the poem, as well as mathematics and programming languages and things, and is as much made for the page as it is for, you know, for being read aloud. So I think I'm going to do that because it's really it's just so satisfying to have your own book in your hands, I think, and it's so satisfying to have just a few people read something, or it's so satisfying just to, even if it's just your friends who enjoy it, I think it's very enjoyable to have that. And you know, I'm not going for necessarily the grand prizes, grand literary awards and whatnot, or what have you. but trying to, yeah, just write something that other people can enjoy, and I get to keep all the money that way. So there's that as well. There's that element of it also. And I've done the self-publishing before. I know I can get a couple of 100 copies or so printed for, like, depending on length of the book, I suppose, like 150 quid for 100 copies if it's like an 80 or 90 page little book of poetry, which I guess is what it would be. I mean, this is a copy of Seamus Heaney's field work that I'm reading at the moment. What's this? This is like, is it even 100 pages? Nowhere close. It's 63 pages or so. So it'd be something like that. Yeah, two little wee volumes of poetry as I end up curling out of my system, so to speak. Yeah. In addition to, and just like find my best poetry, put them in book form, put them out there, and yeah, just do that. I think that's the plan, or one of the plans that I'm going to try and do. Not here, because I'm going to be moving from here in like 7 days or whatever it is, but at the next place I arrive at, yeah, I'll try and do that as well. And yeah, I think I'm going to focus also on art a little bit more as well, and painting, and try and do some more paintings and try and sell them. Because I think I could sell some more paintings. Yeah, hopefully. So those are my plans, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching this video. Do look forward to my poetry collections in the future. I'll put them on Amazon so that you can buy them if you like. And yeah, hopefully you will. Bye. See you soon.